to Blood TV. We are back today with another episode of My Gills With, and I'm happy to say that I'm joined by Louis Hart. You can find him on Twitter. He's at GFC Louis. That's correct, isn't it, mate?
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah.
How you doing? You all right at the moment, trying to struggle on through the coronavirus lockdown?
Yeah, I'm trying my best. Yeah, I'm coping at the moment, but yeah, I'm trying my best. Thank you for having me on as well.
No, good to get you on. Like I say, you always message and tweet and get involved on all the social media, so it'd be good to get your opinions on certain things. So we're going to set of 10 questions like we always do for this series. So we'll go right back to the beginning. And first question always is, how long have you been supporting the Gills?
Well, actually, I was never really born. I never really had that much of a football family. So really, I got into football through my mates and like some cousins and that. So really, I've only been supporting Gills for about 9 years since I think my first game was when I was about 8. Yeah, so not too long. A few people like you've been supporting Gills so much longer than I have. And
all right. I don't have to mention my age.
But yeah,
so it's about 2011 then your first game would have been.
Yeah, my first game was I actually looked it up. I looked up the date. It was on the 16th of April 2011. It was under Hessenthaler. It was Morecambe at home. It was a 1-1 draw, and McDonald scored in the only thing I can really remember it is Cody McDonald scoring quite late on. Yeah, that's it. And then but yeah, that was my first game. It was actually in the town end, so experiencing my first ever football match in the scaffolding. So yeah, it was quite a good experience. And I think ever since then, really, I knew it was a club for me. And ever since then, I just love football and just love watching football. Really.
That's good, yeah. You say you talk about the town because that's what I refer it to. Obviously, not the Brian Moore's stand. It was the town when I started going, and I remember it when it was a crumbling wreck. To be honest, when I put that photo stand up, it was like that. I think it was subsiding at one end. That's why they had to lock it down. But yeah, I had some great nights in there in the rain and the cold. And I remember Ian Wright scoring against us actually at that end, and a certain Peter Crouch after I'd abused him for 90 minutes, and he scored the winner for QPR. Yeah. I think it was a few years ago. Yeah, so.
I think he talks about that. I think Peter Crouch talks about that in his book sometimes about his experience. Yeah, definitely not. Yeah, but no. To be honest with you, I actually wish I was more supporting Gills around like 90 early like the 90s. Really, because probably that's one of the best periods of our club. The late 90s and early thousands. I mean, spending time in the Championship.
It was good fun. Games. Yeah, obviously from when Paul Scally took over. I know he gets a lot of stick now from our fans, but I mean, I'm not Scally in or Scally out. I tend to just concentrate on what's going on the pitch. We can't, sort of control the controllables and that type of thing, and I can't control what he's doing, so I tend to not worry about it too much unless he does anything extremely untoward. Then just let him get on with his job at the end of the day. But that period was brilliant from '95 to definitely 2003 when we finished like 13th, 12th, and 11th in the Championship. It was unbelievable, and we were punching massively above our weight, and this is the argument I have with a lot of younger fans on Twitter these days. We are what we are, and we are where we probably should be in the grand scheme of things. And that doesn't mean that us older fans don't want us to do well or don't want us to get higher up, but we have to realise where we are in the proverbial food chain, so to speak. But it's this season was we just spoke about it before we went on air, didn't we? And like this season's been decent, and if we ever get it finished, it'd be interesting to see where we end up. But moving on from first Gills game attended, which you mentioned it, and you sort of mentioned you only remember Cody McDonald scoring, really not much about the game. What was your first significant Gills memory aside from that?
Well, I don't know. It was in really like the first game I can properly remember about like having a real buzz for it was, I don't know. It was in the 11-12 season. It was an FA Cup game against Stoke at Priestfield. I think we lost 3-1, but Stoke, it was Pulis returning.
Kedwell put us 1-0 up in that game.
Yeah, that's the thing. I remember that so well when Kedwell put us 1-0 up, but they had I remember Shawcross, Rory. I think they scored 2 goals off a Rory Dolap long throw in. But
I remember that throw-in. Yeah, he used to go for miles, didn't he?
Yeah, but no, I do. It's just it's really that 11-12 season was the first time I started going to quite a few more games, and I remember players like Charlie Lee, Chris Whelpdale, Danny Kedwell, obviously, and then other than that, the next season after that was just it needs no introduction. Winning the 12-13, winning the league. It was
that was half decent, wasn't it? To be
yeah,
quite a bad time to start really getting involved.
But that FA Cup game, I always remember it quite well because I think I was in like the Gordon Road. But it's just a game that stuck out to me really. The first time, personally, for me, I've seen Gillingham against a Premier League opposition, and that Stoke team are quite famous around in Premier League. And
that was the year they got to the final, wasn't it? I think.
I think that was the season before. It might have been.
Was it?
Yeah, I think so. It might have been the
season
before.
They was under Pulis, weren't they?
Under Pulis, yeah.
Because he's only allowed I think he's only allowed in the stadium.
Dressing room and dugout.
Yeah, dressing room and dugout. For any other capacity, which is, I think I spoke to someone else about this the other day and said, well, it's up to him and Paul Scally and to sort themselves out. But yeah, you're right. In terms of that team, they'd have had. Yeah, because they used to basically play four. They was very Tony Pulis, weren't they? They used to play 4-4-2, four centre backs. They used to have like giants at fullback as well, didn't they?
Yeah, I can remember.
Robert Hoof, would he have been in the team? And
Ryan Shotton, Matthew Everington, loads of, like, I know he's not big, but typical players like that.
Delat with a massive front. I'm trying to think who they'd have had up front at that time.
I think Cameron Jerome played. I think it might have been Cameron Jerome.
Yeah, he'd have been there.
Jonathan Walters as well, players like that. Yeah, so.
Would Crouch have been there then, or would he still have been at Spurs?
I don't think he played, but I think Crouch joined that season.
Yeah.
But no, it's quite a typical Tony Pulis. It was probably in the peak of their the Tony Pulis era at Stoke.
Yeah, I think you're probably right to be fair. They was getting into Europe and that type of thing at that stage, weren't they? Which was, again, sort of trying to compare it to us. They were punching well above their weight. And
exactly, yeah.
So we talked about that being your first memory then. What's the moving on to a big moment? What's the best goal you've ever seen scored by a Gills player live?
The ones that stick out to me, because most people probably might have said during that time would say Hessenthaler versus Coventry, but I never actually went to that game, so I can't say it. So
the one game, from the halfway line.
Yeah, the one from her. So the ones that stick out to me, I've said probably Bradley Dackby, Sheffield United. And then Wilkinson versus Portsmouth. They're the two ones that mainly stick out to me when someone says the best ever live Gills goal I've seen. Because I think the Dak goal, it was late in the game. It's probably one of the best home games I've been to when we just beat Sheffield United 4-0. Did you miss it?
Yeah, I was working. This moment come up with Owen the other day as well. And we was talking about it, and because I was working in the pub trade at the time.
Oh yeah.
So it always fell on the first weekend of the season. We hosted like a beer festival. So there was no way I could get a day off. So I was the only person, I think, praying for an away day the first game of the season.
Yeah.
And I said to Owen, it come up and I'd like sneaked out. I had to run across to the garage over the road to get more ice because we was running out because it was mental. And checked my phone after like 15 minutes. It was like 2-0 Gills. I was like, Twitter must be broken. Like, checked the it was the same. And then checked back at full time. It was like, we won 4-0. But yeah, the goal was brilliant, wasn't it? I remember him and everyone shouting at him, like, just hold it in the corner. And he goes and just nutmegs a couple of them, slaps it in the far corner. It was incredible.
Yeah, it was fantastic. Like it's just the way it was just brilliant. The strike just couldn't get any more top bins. It was fantastic. And then obviously the Wilkinson v Portsmouth goal. I think he came on half time.
He did. I was there that day as well, and I think I was with whoever I was with was moaning that we took Tom Eves off at half time. And then,
I think I remember that video. Yeah, I think it was Dave Miller. I think it was.
It was Dave. Yeah, because Boz couldn't go because Boz was meant to be coming with me, but he broke his ankle the week before. Yeah.
And then because I think he played quite poorly, and then he got hooked at half time. And Wilkinson came on, and even the build-up play for the goal. I think it O'Neill. I think it might have been O'Neill or Byrne nutmegged one of the Portsmouth players, and then Hessenthaler played a long ball down the corner to Wilkinson. I think he flicked it over Burgess's Christian Burgess, and they took it past Matt Clark, and it was to stay calm under that. Like when you've done that, it takes incredible composure, and then just to put it in the bottom corner is. I think when that goal went in, it was such a massive momentum for the team, and then we scored two other great goals by Lee Martin.
I'd say all the goals in that game were fairly decent, to be fair, weren't they? I think Lee Martin got a couple of good ones.
Yeah,
but back to the Wilkinson one was incredible. I've said because that was the season Burner scored that screamer at home to Bristol Rovers as well.
Yeah, it was.
For me, it had to be the Wilkinson one goal of the season because the first two touches make it. If he doesn't finish it, if his first two touches aren't absolutely perfect, the second one, like you mentioned, after the flick, kills it absolutely dead. Yeah. And the angle where we were stood meant we was right behind it, and as soon as you started seeing it going outside that far post, you knew where it was ending up.
Exactly. Yeah, I think it's like it's like a lot of football fans say it was like the go on from the fans, and then he flicked it over him, and then he flicked it over again, and just finishes it. It was just absolute bedlam in that away end. That was about.
It was probably better because it was in front of us as well. If it had been down the far end like Eves, it probably weren't quite as
exactly,
quite well received. But
I think there's about 1,600 Gillingham fans there.
it was
It was a really, really good day. Yeah, I really enjoyed that. Yeah.
So that moves us on to the next question. Then is that going to be your answer? Best ever live Gills game?
Well, I've tried to go on for I've gone for a couple home games. I would say when we won the league, but in terms of games I enjoyed, that wasn't really a game I enjoyed. I think we were 2-0 up, and then we sort of threw the 2-goal lead.
Yeah.
Wimbledon, yeah, and then but really the ones that stick out to me is probably like under the lights when we beat Wolves 1-0. That was
that's on the telly, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was just a great moment. I mean, no better way to win it, getting battered for the whole game, and then we just nicked it right at the end.
They ran away with it that year, and all didn't they get ridiculous amount? They got well over 100 points, I think, didn't they? Wolves?
I think they had players like Sacco, and then
Luadicco. Went to Palace afterwards, didn't he?
Yeah, and then I'm trying to think of more players they had, like Michael Jacobs, Lee Griffiths, some great players. Yeah. But for me, I loved when we had Millwall away under Edinburgh when we won 3-0. That was just a brilliant day.
Another one I ended up missing because my car died in the week and I couldn't afford to go in. So
yeah, but no,
that was a shame.
That was a great day. I think it was sort of just before Christmas, and it was it'd been a while since we played Millwall, so there was quite a bit of tension, and then there was quite a few Gills fans there. So we just played so well, like everything just went right for us. I think they got Jordan Archer got sent off for them, and then Dax scored the penalty.
Cody won the penalty,
and he broke his foot, I think, from
that. And Dom Samuel got 2 second half, didn't he?
Yeah, he got 2. Yeah. Also, I would have said last season I really loved the Cardiff game last year when we won. Like, I've always wanted to see Gills. I was wanting to see Gills win the beat a Premier League team, and I think to a man, I always say like such a complete performance, like from Holy down to Eves and Parker. It just played so well. Like we were just brilliant. Like and it was a complete performance really. It didn't do well. Like it was a good cut run, but didn't play as well against Swansea. But I still really enjoyed it.
Yeah, did you go Swansea?
Yeah. I did go Swansea.
Yeah, we went Swansea as well. They were a good side. I thought they were a better side than Cardiff, to be honest.
Yeah, they're a good team, man. They had some decent players. I think I think Burst and Selena scored an absolute wonder goal. Yeah.
Plus, they played nearer to a full-strength side, didn't they, than Cardiff?
Yeah.
Cardiff rested loads because they were trying to stay in the Premier League. But it doesn't matter now, does it? It looks back and it says Gills beat a Premier League team. It don't matter who they played. So
exactly, that's the most important thing. And I think one picture, it's one of my, it's a great photo. I think recently one of my favourite Gills photos. I think it's Lister's getting bundled, and you just got Garmston just at an outpour of emotion,
screaming at the front. Yeah,
it's a great photo, but yeah, but no, I'll probably say that those 3 are probably my select games that I can remember as being some of my favourites. Yeah.
Any from this season at all, or?
I think the ones that I've been to. Trying to think off the top of my head. See, I think a lot of our games have been quite scrappy wins, but
I suppose the ones for me this year would be like the last minute winners, maybe like sort of
Sunderland. I'd say I'll probably say Sunderland
at home in the league, and maybe Rochdale as well.
Rochdale,
both Ogilvy as well, weirdly enough.
Yeah, I'll probably say one from this season. My favourite's probably been Sunderland. I think because I thought we played really well on that day, and I think if we didn't win it. Probably would have got. I would have been fuming if we didn't win it because, and obviously we had the. I look back at some of the highlights. We had that. I completely sometimes forget that Hanlon header. It so clearly crossed the line, but it didn't get given.
The one that bounced off the bar. Yeah.
And then I think Mandrell missed like a sitter from like 2 yards out.
I think he hit the bar as well, didn't he?
Yeah. And then they had, it was a great moment when they scored. They were going mental. They let off a flare, and then that's hilarious. Yeah, so that was a really good game, and when that Ogilvy goal was great as well. The composure to flick up and volley at top corner was really, really good. Yeah, probably. So if I was to say any game from this season, probably be that one. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that one for me. The only other one that sticks out was probably Doncaster at home in the cup.
In
terms of good performance, we were really good.
That was really good.
We were 2-0 up after about 15 minutes, and that was it. Game over, wasn't it? So
yeah, exactly. Yeah, and then obviously we played them in the league, and I think that was our first when we played in the league 1-2-1. I think that was our first win from behind. So yeah, that was quite decent.
There was a red card in that game.
Yeah, for Okina-Beery because he elbowed Fuller.
Oh, that was it. Elbowed Fuller. That was the game. Yeah, I thought there was.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
Best Gills season. Let's move on to that. I know what it's going to be. It has to be, surely.
Yeah, it's the well. I've had I said 12-13 season. I think like what I can't like what a team that was. Like I am so lucky in my lifetime that I've seen Gillingham win the league. Like, and it was so early on. Like it was only
within like 18 months of starting going to watch. Incredible.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it was fantastic. I mean, some of the players in that team, you like professionals and experienced pros. Like I saw the interview with Nelson, the way he talked about that team, it was a special team. Like
and he said straight away, even like he said like that Dagenham friendly, he knew that it was a good side,
exactly.
It was going to be challenging, which was crazy to think that 9 months in advance you could pinpoint that it was going to be a good season.
I think, and I think a lot of things to say, like the sort of characters in that team. You talk about a lot of people say like, oh, you win games in the tunnel, win games when you walk around. You played up against teams at preschool, and you just knew we were going to win. Like we just had that right turf of players and that mentality that you just knew we'd beat these teams. I think there was times where we were. I'm trying to think. I think it was. I can't quite remember some games, but I think there was one time we were like 3-0 up against Bristol Rovers inside the first half, and the game was done and dusted already. It was just the team was just so good. And another season I really did enjoy. I enjoyed the 15-16 season under Edinburgh. I know it. It went towards the end. It just fell apart. But I think some of the players in that team, you know, we were blessed to have McDonald and Johnny, not McDonald, McDonald, Dak and Egan all in the same team. You know, it was just
I asked Nels that and said, do you think if McDonald had stayed fit, would we have maybe got it? Because he missed most of that season, didn't he? He missed the beginning. And then he broke his foot in that Millwall game that you've already mentioned. He only come back towards the end, and we was in absolutely shocking form. But yeah, you're right. Up until like sort of end of January, we were superb. Really, really good. Played great stuff, didn't we? Like you say, we had really good players. I think maybe just a little bit of inexperience caught us out in the end because we didn't really have proper experienced players. You know, like Fullers, that type.
Exactly.
Nelson we had, but you think Egan was captain, but he was still only early 20s. The fullbacks were young, weren't they? Jackson had stepped up. Garmston and Dickinson were only young. Jordan Houghton started the season. He was only a kid.
Osadebe
was still young. Osadebe was a kid. Hess weren't old. I don't think Doug Loft played loads of games that season. No, Josh Wright come in, didn't he?
Yeah, and then I remember we brought in Adam Elab from Bristol City. He was more of a, and when we brought him in, I think we kept something like, our defensive record was like we conceded like 1 in 7 games. It was really
couldn't
good.
Score though, could we? At the other end,
that's the thing.
So I think we brought in Crofts at about the same time as well, didn't we? He was nowhere near as good as the first.
No, he wasn't. Yeah, I think it was like when Southend away when he came in, he was signed on that day, and then
that's it. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. So. But I think most in that season, like we were so good at home, but we didn't win that many away games. I think that's really let us down. We only won about 5 or 6 away games, and there was
because we didn't lose at home until December, did we? That Burton game when Ross got sent off. I'm trying to think of the way. Well, we won at Swindon, we won at Millwall.
Yeah, those are 2 games I think like that back-to-back wins against them. I can remember
beat Crewe and Chesterfield, I think, because I'm sure Donnelly was in the middle of one of his purple patches.
Yeah,
he only had 2 in the whole season.
Exactly, he scored 10 goals, and he scored
like
10 goals.
2 patches of 5 games or something.
Yeah, and then
I'm trying to think who else we won. I think we won at Bradford early on in the season, didn't we? I think
2-1.
Norris, and then there was an own goal by that James Hansen.
Yeah,
and then we didn't win for like the last 2 months of the season, did we? Unfortunately.
Yeah, I think we beat Bury as well in like Easter Monday or something like that. I think Norris
might have done 1-0.
Yeah, but the 2. I just remember the 2. There's like 3 away games that I think the Burton away, Walsall away, and then the dread. Like when I always say Wigan away, if we would have won that game, we would have won the league. I really do.
Boz says that. I always said we won the league as well because you forget that they went on a massive unbeaten run as well after that. Our form fell off the edge of a cliff, unfortunately, didn't it?
Yeah, it's like we was cruising. It was 2-0. I think Dak. It was at 2-0. Dak put it past. He took it past the keeper and then he missed. Like that's one moment I remember quite a bit against Wigan. It would have made it 3-0. Probably would have sealed the game. But it's fine margins. And
then Nels made a mistake for one of the goals, didn't he? Which he didn't make that season, unfortunately. And then it just that probably then summed up the last 2 months of the campaign.
Exactly. Yeah, it did. Yeah. But I think the manner in which we lost to Wigan was also just awful. Like I think it was for morale. It just smashed the players' morale because to be 2-0 up and cruising, then concede 2 poor goals, and then the 96th minute winner. It's just it can destroy you really in the
Yeah, because probably a point would have probably still been a decent point at the time as well. But
talk about inexperience and not many experienced players. Like, not many players would be in that situation before, and to deal with something like that, it's difficult, really. Yeah.
But back to the 2012-13 season, you've said obviously you don't remember loads of them, but I always ask this question when that season comes up. At what point did you start thinking, hang about, we're on to something really special here?
One game in particular, I would say. I think there was a time. I think it was either we beat Dagenham. We beat Dagenham 2-1. And I think I was at that period. We beat Bradford away 1-0 just a week before they had the cup final at Wembley. I think.
That was when they got to they got to the League Cup final, didn't they?
Yeah, the League Cup final, and then we beat Dagenham 2-1. And I just said from that point, I knew we were gonna win the league. And that was the time where I was like, "There's no way we can mess this up." I think we drew 2 all the way at Fleetwood, and it put us about 10 points clear of promotion with about 5 games left to play. And you knew, like, this was we had the league on our hands, really.
Yeah, I just wish we was doing sort of the YouTube channel for that final day. Incredible, but
yeah. Exactly,
but yeah, it was a cracking season nonetheless. Right, brings us on to greatest Gills manager. So I'm assuming by the fact that you've spoken about 2 seasons so glowingly, I'm guessing it's going to be one of them two, either Justin or Martin Allen, and I think it's going to have to be
Martin Allen.
It's got to be it.
You ask any Gills fan in the past decade who the best manager is, they'll all say the same answer. It's Martin Allen. I think he's a winner. He gets results. I think he's just a great man. Like, the interaction he had with fans is just no one until, like, maybe a bit like Steve Evans now. I think no one's really interacted with fans as much as he did. Like, he really did galvanise the crowd and brought them together. Really, it was he was brilliant. Like, I don't think and Nelson said, we didn't play the most great football at times. Like, it was direct at times, but we got results. That's the main thing, and we were just
fans don't really care how you play.
Exactly,
we do that. I'm sure they don't. Like, the same when, like, going back to when I was about your age, that would have been the Tony Pulis side.
Yeah,
it was exactly the same. No one cared if we were playing long ball, if you were winning every week and getting to Wembley 2 years on the bounce. No one really cared how you got there. It was just the fact that you were getting there. So
yeah, I think that's the thing. Like, I think a lot of Gillingham fans, they're not. Whereas some clubs can care a lot about football, like what the style of football plays. But a lot of Gillingham were used to play at teams like Tony Pulis sides, Martin Allen sides, and taking and doing whatever it can to get a result. So it was the perfect manager for us, and I think it was his first promotion. I think it might have been. I'm not too sure.
Yeah, because I listened to the Gills Fancast interview with him. I've had to do it over a couple of days, obviously, because the kids running around indoors, and it was like 2.5 hours long. But it was a really good listen. Really, sort of, brought back some good memories, and also it was a good insight into, like, behind the scenes stuff that you probably didn't hear about.
Exactly.
I think he definitely managed the game the same way that he played the game, because I remember him vaguely in the 80s as a kid growing up, but not loads. But West Ham, sort of that period, I remember him being at West Ham. But yeah, he was a lunatic.
Yeah,
not gonna lie.
Yeah, but I think everyone, most players have always said, like, a lot of the players when they've had interviews, they've always said how much they respect him and how much they respected every decision he'd done. And Nelson talks about it. He was like, he just respected everything he'd done, and he felt like it was a friend of his almost, because. So it's I think he just had so much respect around the club. I think he still is massively respected by everyone at the club, really.
Oh yeah, definitely. He's got to go down. I mean, there's how many managers have won a league title for Gillingham?
Yeah.
There's only one other.
Yeah, exactly.
That's won a league title. Obviously, Tony and Peter Taylor got us to Wembley, and Stimpson got us to Wembley. But to actually win a league title, it takes some doing. So there's not many people that can say they've done that. So he's got to be right up there in terms of one of the greats. But, moving on from managers, then I want to go to cult hero for you. That doesn't have to necessarily be like the best player, the best technical player, but just someone that you instantly sort of fell in love with watching the Gills. And
I'd say a lot, like the couple of the first players, like from the 12-13 season, I just loved like Adam Barrett, and I think Dion Burton was such a good player. Like, he was like, I thought, like, for this when I first started watching Gills, I just thought he was so good. Like, I remember games against like the Morecambe goal, that touch for the long, I think it's a long ball from Fish, and he just touches it down. It's just sublime brilliance, and that just really 12, 13. But one player that I fell in love with is Cody McDonald for me. He's probably my favourite ever Gillingham player. He scored so many important goals for us over the years. Like, you think so much, like games like Bristol Rovers.
I missed that as well.
Yeah. Oh, you was watching Dortmund, wasn't you?
I was in Germany for my stay too. Yeah, so I missed Cody's last 2 ever goals for us.
It was
we was in the back of a stadium tour because it was Good Friday, wasn't it?
Yeah.
But in Germany, the games were still on the Saturday, so we did the stadium tour on the Friday. And so there's me, Stocky, and Boz at the back of this stadium tour with some German-speaking bloke trying to do the stadium tour because we missed the English-speaking one because we didn't get up in time. And we just shouted out this massive roar at the back of this tour, and everyone looked at them. And then we had to try and explain to this German fella what the importance was of stuff like that. So we got talking to him, and he was like, "Oh, what level's Gillingham?" And so we said, "Oh, and he was going Premier League." He was going, "No, like the one below, no, one below." And he was going, "How much do you pay for tickets?" And he was like, "Oh, Boz, season tickets £400." He was like, I think he nearly fell over. He was like, "Dortmund season tickets like £100," and we were like, "Yeah, cheers for that."
Yeah, but no, like that Bristol Rovers game, just to take the game by the scruff of the neck and score goal and score those 2 goals, which I always say this, like if we went down that season, I genuinely wouldn't know where we are now. Like, I think you talk a lot about team that you've seen it before, teams like Tranmere, and they've had back-to-back relegations. Chesterfield,
yeah, so County, Leighton Orient, there's loads, isn't there?
Yeah, so like no one, I wouldn't have known where we would have been at that period. I would have, I think, because at that time in the club, it was I think we can all agree it was probably in terms of when I've been supporting Gillingham, the worst time I've ever experienced.
The lowest I can remember for a long time. 17, 18, we struggled again, but that having to go to Northampton that final day was horrendous.
Something I know I probably will during my time supporting Gillingham, I will experience it again, but it's something I really, really don't want to be experiencing.
No, it weren't a fun.
It's horrible.
It's the case of getting out there and staying above water. That was the thing, wasn't it?
Yeah, but no, it's got to be Cody McDonald. I think when he just started, when I first started watching Gills, he was playing for the 10-11 when he was on loan, and then he came back 12-13, I think. Only played a handful of games, didn't play that many, but he scored quite. He scored the goal against Bradford, which I say was which really, when people started to believe that we could win the league, and I think I remember one on his first game back against York. It was like that was a great moment because it was his first game back from Gillingham since the loan spell, and he scored. It was I remember the rain.
I think we drew that game because I don't think we lost any of the games when he came back in for that loan spell.
I don't think so. Yeah.
I think we drew a couple and won the rest, which was really sort of helped us, didn't it?
Yeah, and then he joined permanently, and I think 13-14 season he was really good in that season. He was pivotal to us staying up in our first season back in League One. I think he scored a goal against Tranmere and then which pretty much ultimately confirmed our safety. But I think he scored about.
That was. I remember that game. That was towards the end of the season. That was when the keeper come up for a corner.
Yeah, from Williams. Yeah,
that's it. Yeah.
And I think the season after, I think in overall, I think he might have scored about 8. I'm not too sure. It might be in the 80s in terms of goals.
He's definitely got sort of at least 16, 17 in the first 2 seasons back in League One. Then he had that season when he was injured.
Yeah,
He still got the double figures. I think the season we were really bad when we went to Northampton. I think he got 10 or 12.
10, not much. But then, obviously went to Wimbledon and really never was the same since he left Gills, to be honest.
Well, he said he didn't want to, didn't he? I remember we spoke a couple of years ago nearly now, and he said, I didn't want more money. He just said, I just wanted 2 years. That was it. He said, I'd take the pay cut, but the club wouldn't give me 2 years, which is frustrating. And
so frustrating because I remember at the time it was the same. So I think Dak left that year as well, and it was like Dak, and there was quite a bit of a clear out at the club, and then but I remember Cody McDonald leaving. There was massive uproar when he left because no one really wanted him to leave. And then obviously we brought in Eves, and he didn't do too bad as well. Yeah,
there was a lot of people said it would have been nice maybe if we could have got them to play together, wouldn't we? Like big man, that could have been quite fun to watch.
Everyone always said Cody McDonald always works so well when he's got quite a physical striker next to him. Obviously worked well back in Fenway. They had a great partnership. yeah, I always thought Cody McDonald was really at his best when he was playing against a big, tall, physical striker.
Yeah, really good. So does he come in as the answer for your greatest ever Gills player as well? And
I was trying to look at this one in terms of ability, and I would say the best player I've seen in terms of ability would either be Bradley Dack or John Egan. I think John Egan now, as a fantastic defender and was such a good ball player, and there's a reason. There's no reason. It's not by any fluke that he's part of one of the best defences in the Premier League in England, really.
And it's mad to think, isn't it? They're like chasing down the Champions League.
Exactly, absolutely crazy. But just everything about him, all around leader, a great defender, and he was just he scored. Some of the goals he scored for us were brilliant. Like, he scored a couple of goals from 30 yards. I remember a game against Colchester when it might have been Boxing Day. It might have been a couple of days. It might have been during Christmas, but it was Egan, and the ball fell out about 40 yards out, and he just hit it, and it just hit the bar. I
remember that. He crashed the bar from absolutely miles out. But he did score a good goal from about 25 yards against Port Vale, I think.
Yeah, I remember that,
yeah. I think he got both that day, and we ended up being picked back and drew 2-2. But
yeah, I remember that. Yeah, but I would have said as the greatest player I've seen play is Egan and Dack. I think both of them. Well, obviously Egan's in the Premier League now, but Dack, if he didn't have this injury, I think he'd be probably getting the Premier League moves either in this summer but obviously everything's happening now. But I think it's just a matter of time before Dack plays and gets. I think it'd be a joke if he doesn't play in the Premier League.
It'd be interesting to see when he comes back, because I think he'd then be almost out of contract. So be interesting to watch how Blackburn sort of try and handle that. But yeah, I can't disagree with them too. They'd be right up there for me as well. Even although I'm a lot older than you. But moving on from that, then, and you said you've done your research. Gills' six-a-side team.
Well, I've done it from the players that I've been since I've been watching. So I've done Stuart. I've gone Stuart Nelson in goal, just an absolute one of my greatest keeper I've ever watched playing Gills. One of my most favourite keepers. Two centre back pairing. I would have loved to see this centre back pairing. John Egan and Adam Barrett.
Okay.
I've gone Bradley Dack.
Yep.
Charlie Lee, Lee, and Cody McDonald. That's the six-a-side team.
So we've got Nelson goal, Barrett and Egan, Dacky in midfield with Lee, Cody scoring a goal. Yeah, it's quite balanced as well.
Yeah, I tried that. So I tried to balance out. So Charlie Lee would be that hard centre mid that would get stuck. It's a small pitch, but get stuck in and allow Dack to do whatever he wants with McDonald.
Yeah, I think that'd do well, to be fair. They're all quite short as well, so that'd be all right in a five-side team as well. Yeah, wouldn't have to go over head height. So
yeah.
That's interesting one. Yeah, I think Nelson's right up there for a lot of.
Yeah,
he'd be right up there for me as well. I mean, mine's probably he's probably third on my list.
Yeah,
because mine I've got Jim Stannard and Vince Bartram, obviously from the mid to late 90s, but you can only pick it on those that like you say that you've watched live.
Exactly, I've watched. Yeah, I think if I've been watching a little bit longer, about 10, 20 years, I think my team would be a lot different. But it can only go off what I've been watching. But
no, of course, exactly. That's the beauty of it. So. Right, I really enjoyed that, mate. It's been good fun.
Thank you for having me on. I really do appreciate it.
No problem at all. Like I say, it's helping each other out. It's killed 40 minutes while we can't go and watch football. I'm going to go and stick my laptop on in a minute and watch the Plymouth game, I think.
That's decent, yeah, enjoy it.
Right, Gills fans, you know where we are on all the social medias, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube. Go and follow Louis on Twitter. Keep staying safe. And until next time, up the Gills.